Good evening, friends, and welcome to Cookies and Candidates. I'm Nick Johnson, and I'll be your moderator for this evening. We want to say thanks to everyone who was able to join us tonight, both here at the Leland Legacy and those of you joining us online. If you're with us at the Leland Legacy, I hope you have enjoyed the delicious cookies during the candidate social time and the opportunity to interact with the candidates. I'd like to give a special shout out to Marlene Lindsay, who's having her 29th birthday today. We get a round of applause. And thank you all for being here with us again. I'd like to take some time to explain the format for tonight. This is a moderated question and answer session. We have the pleasure of hearing from candidates running for Indiana's Congressional District 6. I'm getting the shout out for whoop whoop, so let's cheer for that, huh? Come on, applause. It's not quite the Carson show. We can engage. Okay, questions have been written and selected by the Wayne County Democratic Party leadership, and candidate speaking order has been randomly selected so that you know. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for their introduction, 2 minutes for each response to our questions, and 2 minutes for their closing remarks. Our timekeeper, Beth, will be giving warnings, and a sound will be played when the time is up. And my apologies, friends, I will give you a hard stop. So, old school coach voice coming intact. All right. We will then have a brief opportunity to hear from our local, county, and state candidates as well. While we had intended to have all 4 congressional candidates present with us tonight, David Boyd is unable to make it tonight due to unforeseen circumstances. We will start the candidates each with introducing themselves and making opening statements and remarks about their platforms and their candidacies. Random selection puts Corey first, and then we will proceed alphabetically. So with that, let us begin. Corey, if you don't mind, I'm going to give you a microphone, and you'll each have to share it with each other. And allow me to pass it to you. Don't get up. And you will be given time to respond.
Ready, set, go.
Ready, set, go. Go.
Hi, everybody. Thank you all for being here this evening. My name is William Corey Amix. I am running for Congress here in the 6th District. This is kind of my hometown stomping grounds. I grew up in Connorsville. I spent a lot of time here in Richmond growing up, training in martial arts here. So I know Richmond quite well. What am I running for? Somebody asked me earlier, what made me run? With the current state of the nation, the things that are happening, I have a daughter, I have a son, I have a mom, I have a sister, I have a partner, and as a gay man, I cannot stand by and watch what's happening to women, to men, everybody. I stand for a few different things. One of the first things that I want to see change is the affordability. We have an affordability crisis, from wages to health care to child care. So those are the first 3 things that I want to see tackled. Got to get used to the 1 minute rule. I could talk for hours. I want to see digital literacy and safety go up, whether that is through social media platforms, algorithms that are used to pit us against each other. I want to see regulations formed to stop that, quite honestly. A lot of propaganda happens online through those algorithms that can change the events of the country. Hopefully you'll learn more about me and my campaign tonight. Feel free to talk to me afterwards. I don't bite. I had 2 cookies, so I'm good. I'm not hungry. I promise I won't bite. But yeah, my name is William Corey Amix, and I hope to earn your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Corey. We really appreciate it. Next up is Nick Baker. Nick?
Thank you. I'd also like to thank Amanda and the Leland for hosting us, as well as the Wayne County Democrats for putting this on tonight and giving us what will probably be our last candidate forum together. For those of you who do not know me, I know I've introduced myself to many of you, but my name is Nick Baker. I'm from Bloomington, Indiana. I went to Indiana University and on to law school in Indianapolis at the McKinney School of Law. I've been a practicing trial attorney for the last 20 years. I'm the only attorney in the country that brought the Camp Lejeune water contamination case to the United States Supreme Court. Fortunately, Joe Biden signed the PACT Act and gave us an avenue for those families who have been poisoned. I'm also the only attorney in the state that is suing the state pro bono for the remaining Ku Klux Klan laws that are still on Indiana's books, 100 years old now. My campaign is themed on three things. First, unity and not division. We need to somehow focus on the middle ground issues that unite us, not the wedge issues that divide us. And the second tenet is that I'd like to see a balanced budget. I think one of the biggest problems with the House of Representatives, it being in control of the purse, it continues to have a low approval rating because it never can balance the budget and continues to drive ridiculous debt that ultimately holds us all hostage to our federal government. The only way I see that we can do that, and the third tenet of my campaign, is to completely and totally reform American health care. It's right now 51 cents of every healthcare dollar going to insurance companies and administration, not to actual healthcare and providers like the Leland. I hope that you guys understand that this primary is incredibly important. I know you have important Republican races here, but it's important Democrats show up in this primary, and I hope to earn your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. And Cindy Worth.
Good evening, Richmond. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for hosting this. I'm Dr. Cindy Worth, and I am a scientist, a teacher, and a small business owner. I started running in this race in 2022 when no one else would. We had one person who decided he wanted to run, but he was wanting to also dismantle NATO. That wasn't okay with me. In 2024, it was an open seat, and there were 0 other people besides me on the ballot the entire time, and then Jefferson Shreve won his primary. So I am not new to this work and this race, but I am true to this work in this race. In my classroom, the things that I saw when I was teaching are the things that led me to run. And the same students I had who were struggling with things like the cost of housing with their families, the cost of utilities, health care, are the same things that those students and now their families struggle with today. One of the biggest things we need to solve is our health care crisis. We have an affordability crisis, and it all hinges on health care. We need single-payer universal health care across the board. In our country right now, at age 65, the quality of life goes up because we have health care. And that's one of the things that is really driving me to come out and run again and keep running until we get this solved. We also need to make sure that we fully fund and support public education. Public education is the backbone of our communities, and we need to make sure those dollars flow to our public schools. So I hope that I can earn your vote tonight in this primary, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Worth. All right, let's get stuck in with our questions tonight for our candidates. First up will be Nick Baker. Nick, what do you think are the top 3 issues facing District 6?
Well, from one of my discussions and traveling this district over the last several months and learning from the constituents, the top 3 issues I've encountered are health care first, housing second, and affordability third. They are ultimately the issues that are under attack throughout the district. We right now have rural health care that is being decimated by cuts currently through the big billionaire bill, cutting through Medicaid and Medicare, and ultimately denying a lot of the health care providers in this district. We're now down to 3 maternal health care locations throughout the district for a district of about 777,000 people. We need to get that back up. And then we have obviously a national housing shortage, but that housing shortage is throughout the country. It's significant in the 6th Congressional District, and particularly affordable housing that people can actually get into and afford and have a budget with their family. And then affordability, obviously, we're seeing that across the board. Budget items from your insurance rates being the largest increase you probably see in your local budget, to everyday expenses. And the only way I think we can address those issues is by, obviously, we need to increase the minimum wage. I may not agree with how high we need to increase the minimum wage, because I don't want to shut down small businesses across this district or hurt farmers. And we need to increase housing, increase federal programs that are going to promote more housing. But again, the biggest tenet of my campaign is a complete and total overhaul of American health care. And I'd like to see health care for more. I don't necessarily think we need health care for all, or to provide health care for the richest Americans in this country. Of course, if us Democrats win 2/3 of the House, and we can get that done without an orange man signing the bill, then we'll push it through. But where we are right now, this is what will get done.
Thank you, Nick Baker. Appreciate it. The next question is for Cindy Worth. Cindy, our community is struggling with affordability from... Oh, I'm sorry. Cindy, you're next, I believe. Am I correct? Same question. My apologies.
Same question.
Same
top
question.
three issues.
What do you think the top 3 issues facing District 6?
So I'm going to take a little different approach. The top 3 issues I see are affordability, which encompasses healthcare, housing, groceries, utilities, funding public education, and ensuring that we have clean air, land, and water for all of us. Those issues are top of my platform, have been since I started running. The affordability crisis, as I said earlier, hinges on solving the health care issues. We are also 50 million affordable housing units short in the United States. And that we're at a critical point where we've got to start unlocking some funding. We've got to start unlocking some programs for people to begin building those again. We've been here before. It's nothing that we need to reinvent the wheel. We've had policies and we've had programs in the past that work, and those have been shuttered. As far as public education, we've got to work to overturn Espinoza versus Montana and put that barrier back between public tax dollars and private educational funding private education. When we do that, we will put those dollars back into our public schools. And as I said before, our public schools are the lifeblood of our communities, especially in rural areas. And right now we have an elementary school that'll be closing as of, in a few weeks. In Rush County. So because of these voucher dollars that are sucking the money away from our public schools. These 3 things, the clean air, land, and water are critical, because I think a study just came out yesterday that said Monroe County is one of the worst air qualities in our nation. And that all blows this way, and we all know that.
Thank you, Dr. Worth. Corey, top 3 issues facing District 6.
So I've been fortunate for the past year. I have taken a unique approach to campaigning and spent more of my time in the communities, and I've now knocked on more than 23,000 doors. I can tell you, number 1, the first thing out of people's mouth is wages. Wages and what they're making. Healthcare would be second, and childcare is third. With wages, people need to make more. Minimum wage has not gone up since 2009. It's stuck at $7.25 an hour still. We've had inflation, we've had the cost of goods that are going up while minimum wage has stayed the same. You look at healthcare, I agree with Dr. Worth as far as universal healthcare goes. I think that we need to pass it, and that would be one of the high priorities. There's no need to reinvent the wheel when other people have actually presented. Bernie Sanders has put out the universal healthcare plan multiple times. And I think that's something that we can vote on. Childcare would be the third thing. We have folks, my kids are Allie and Riley, my daughter's at IU, and my son is at Purdue online. I don't have childcare in my house anymore, but I know plenty of people who do. And I've talked with folks who are literally now making the decision between do they work or stay home because they can't afford childcare. So I believe that we need to have universal child care. That is something important to get passed right out of the gate. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. For our second question, we'll start with Cindy Worth. Cindy, our community is struggling with affordability from grocery bills to gas prices to safe housing to health insurance and more. What is your plan for addressing the economy and giving relief to Hoosiers?
So universal single-payer health care will give every family a lift of about $24,000. That's a start. Going after the minimum wage and raising that to a living wage in whatever community we're talking about is the next step. A living wage is what it takes to pay all your bills, pay the rent, pay your utilities, and have a little bit extra breathing room. That's the living wage. So I think when we attach a certain number to raising the minimum wage, we really need to focus on solving health care first, making sure that our utility boards are working for us and not for investors. Our utility regulation boards in some places are working on behalf of investors, and so we're seeing our utility rates rise. That's not okay. So we need to do a couple of steps on that. Childcare is another thing where we have increased costs, and there are several proposals out that address universal health care and universal child care together in a companion way. And that also brings into the Family Leave Act, because Family Leave Act doesn't just cover childbirth, it also covers care for family and dependents. And I think putting those programs back will go a long way to helping affordability and helping people get down where they have more month at the end of their money or more money at the end of their month instead of more month at the end of their money. And I think that's the reality for most Hoosiers.
Thank you so much. Same question, Mr. Baker. Community struggling with affordability, grocery bills, gas prices, housing, health insurance. What are your plans for addressing the economy with Hoosiers?
Right away, again, I would like... The same question.
That was the same question.
Oh, it goes to...
Oh, it's me.
I'm so sorry. I'm new to this.
My turn?
No.
Okay, so my plan for this, number one would be wages. And actually, all of you, if you want to go to my Facebook right now, you can follow me. I put out something today about raising minimum wage. And I've spent a great deal of time working with small businesses on this. It's something I'm proud of, that looking at what economist research have shown, including MIT's Living Wage Calculator and the Living Wage Institute, currently today, the living wage is $21, almost $22 an hour. My goal is by 2031 to have the minimum wage at $25 an hour. That gives us roughly 5 years from now to get this passed, and it adjusts for inflation. Now, everybody is concerned instantly about small businesses, as was I, and that's why I'm fortunate to have small businesses on my advisory board that reviewed this with me. So, 4 things to protect the small businesses so they don't go bankrupt. First is the payroll tax credit. Second would be the wage offset tax credit. So whatever wages they were previously paying, the difference between that wage and what $25 an hour is will be offset on taxes. Third would be an SBA loan that is backed by specific lenders, so that way they can get instant cash flow to pay for that increase in wages. And fourth would be increasing credits for new technology that they may be using, new equipment that they may be using. Now, this isn't a light switch. We're not going to flip this on and just overnight it becomes $25. That's how you blow up a system, right? This is phased in over 4 years. In the first year, minimum wage jumps to $18. The second year, it jumps to $21. The third year, it jumps to $23. And the fourth year, it jumps to $25. So it's phased in slowly, allowing businesses to adjust.
Thank you, Mr. Amix. Appreciate it. Mr. Baker?
Thank you. And I think we've all witnessed under the current administration an attack on pretty much all of the services and entitlement programs that are supposed to help these people and their issues that they have out there. But again, one of the things I think we all are agreeing on is that healthcare is a huge line item in our families. And if they are spending anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000 a month as a family, this is consuming a lot of their earnings. So we have to overhaul American healthcare. We need to get the grift out of it. But we also need to get people back in the federal government that are in those civil service positions who are actually evaluating and seeing what is fair for people out there and enforcing integrity rules and returning consumer protections. There's an absence of regulation going on right now across this country. Current state insurance regulators are not at all enforcing their regulations and ensuring their premium rates reflect the actual casualty loss business. We have to get those people back under control so we can get those costs down. Yes, we definitely need to increase wages, but we cannot explode it to a number that is going to hurt small businesses and farmers in this district. It has been 17 years, and it's pretty bad that it's only at 7.25 for minimum wage. So I think you could easily double that to start and move in the right direction. But we also should do things like childcare. There are so many individuals throughout the 6th Congressional District that would happily rejoin the workforce, but for the fact that it's more prohibitively expensive to take their child to child care and then go to work. They have to make that decision. Are they going to save more money just by staying home? And we have to fund public education. We have now an explosion of homeschooling across the 6th Congressional District. And while there may be some good programs out there, it's kind of devastating to see the erosion of public education. I'd like to see that prop back up.
Thank you so much, Mr. Baker. All right, we're going to start question 3 with Corey Amix. Corey, how would you approach the deep division in Congress, the deep division in government, as well as the deep division in the American people?
So I've kind of addressed this with constituents as I'm knocking on doors for the last year. I've made it a point to not knock on the Democrat door. I was having this conversation earlier. I've knocked on every door, including red doors, blue doors, green doors, all of them. Sorry, bad joke. It was a Dr. Seuss joke. I know. But I wanted to talk with everybody. I wanted to be able to have their input, but I wanted them to see me for who I am and that I'm working for them. We've gotten way far away from that. A long time ago, I was fortunate to have my former grandfather-in-law, Otis Bowen, Doc Bowen, if any of you remember him. Doc was one of the most beloved bipartisan governors that we had, 2 terms, and then he went on to serve for head of Health and Human Services for President Reagan. He tried to get me into politics a long time ago, and I told him, I said, hell no, to be honest with you. And I said, that's where you go to lose your soul, is politics. And here I am now, so I know he's smiling down at me today. He had this way about him of just getting people on both sides. And I think that's something that I took from him. I find myself always playing devil's advocate. I pride myself in being fair, but I know a bully. And I will not cave to a bully. I will stand up for the people. But we can't take our basketball and go home when we don't get our way, and that's what's happening today. I think we need to learn to compromise, and that's what I will do in Congress. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I believe we come now to Dr. Worth. Oh, no. So Nick doesn't. I'm going to get this order right, I promise, friends. Someday. All right, same question. How are we going to handle the division?
We need to start electing more consensus candidates like Lee Hamilton. We need to bring back that blue dog coalition of Democrats that would reach across the aisle, even when they strictly disagreed with a lot of the principles. I've on my social media, there's one particular group called the 80% Club, and they have identified 22 issues that 80% of American people agree need to be passed. First, repealing Citizens United, getting the dark money out of politics, ending all of the insider trading we're seeing throughout Congress, and a host of other issues that many Americans agree on. If we focus on those specific issues, either the Congress is going to have to play ball, or they're going to have to send their message back to their constituents and face re-election in 2 years. And hopefully we'll get new candidates who can bring us together. And we got to focus on issues like, if I'm going to Washington, I'm going to say, AOC, you come over here. Josh Hawley, you come over here. Both of them want to reform health care, and they want to do it in the same way where we're getting out all of this insurance greed and monopolies out of our health care system and all of the private bureaucratic waste out of our health care. We can take people from all ranges of our political spectrum and come together on those issues that we all agree are problems and focus on those. Stop dividing each other in the wedge issues and stop engaging in these little petty fights and get work done for the American people, because the only way we're going to see our way through that is to do correct legislation that shows results, brings balanced budgets that don't shut down the government so that the people can find popularity back with their Congress.
Thank you so much, Nick. The same question, Dr. Worth. How would you handle the division?
So the division in Congress is getting worse with every year. I had the opportunity to be on Capitol Hill in 2018, 2019 when the U.S. House flipped. So I got to see a Republican-led House and a Democrat-led House. During that time, I wrote a bill that ended up passing the House and then the Senate and then was signed into law. So under those conditions, when you're writing legislation, it's really important that it's focused so that you can bring both sides together. I was able to do that within the first 3 months that I was a fellow on the Hill, and I know I can bring that back. But that being said, we also need someone who will stand up to whoever is not upholding the Constitution. And that is not happening right now with most of our lawmakers, even on the Democrat side. So I think somebody who has a spine, who's willing to stand up and use every single procedural tool that we have in our arsenal of tools as legislators, to uphold the Constitution and make sure that everybody's rights are secured. And that's something that has been forgotten and something that deeply concerns me. So I think there's a balance there where I won't negotiate with fascists. I will fight, and fight hard for what's right and what will help people instead of harm people and make other people wealthy.
Very good. Question 4 begins with Nick Baker. Nick, if elected, how would you balance and serve the needs of the large and varied constituents of District 6?
Ever since I started this campaign, and many of the first messages I received is we have to look at the reality on the ground. The 6th Congressional District is one of the most conservative in the country. We Democrats in the last 2 congressional elections have lost 68 points to 32 points. We must be mindful of the independent and moderate voters in this district, and we need to listen to their concerns. It's important that if we Democrats want to actually win here, we have to appeal to those that are in the middle and those that are even moderately Republican and are what I call disgruntled MAGA voters. And now there are several. 2024 was a promise of a bunch of populist messages to a bunch of people that then voted MAGA who are now being harmed with their entitlement benefits and their resources being taken away and farmers throughout this district being hurt. So obviously we need to focus our campaign and structure our cam as good Big Ten Democrats to appeal to independent and moderate voters and listen to them.
Thank you so much. I think we're Cindy next. Cindy's going to be next.
So in the 6th district, one of the big things in our rural areas is to make sure that our farm bill includes small family farms and really includes what are real small family farms. That's not been done, and that has been intentionally avoided over the last couple of farm bills that have been put forth. That's one of the ways that we can kind of serve everybody in the 6th district and keep those family farms. That's really important to me, and I know it's really important to a lot of people in the 6th district. The other piece of this is, and I'm going to go back to public schools, we've got to find a way to end our voucher program from the federal level so that we put our money back into our public schools and we can serve every single student. That is critical, and it is something that will help every person in the 6th district. And again, I'll go back to healthcare. Passing single-payer universal health care will help every single person in the 6th district. Right now, if you look at a graph of healthcare outcomes, it's fairly up and down to age 18. At age 18, it takes a nosedive to age 64. At age 65, it comes back up. We all know why. Medicare. We have an incredible system already built, and if we expand that to include more people, that will help everyone in our 6th district.
Can you repeat the question for me?
You ready? Yep. You got it.
Can you repeat the question for me?
If elected, how would you balance and serve the needs of the large and varied constituents of District 6?
So I think this kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier. We need to have balance, as Nick said, too. There is a large, diverse population of people in this district, both Democrat and Republican. It is a larger Republican area. And I've knocked on a lot of their doors, and I've talked to a lot of them, and they are upset with this administration as much as we are. And unlike Jefferson Shreve, who listens to only the 1%, I will listen to the 99%. And frankly, I don't give a damn what letter is next to your name. We're Hoosiers first, and that's what we have to get back to. That's my answer.
Thank you so much. All right. Question 5 is for Dr. Worth. Cindy, what makes you the best candidate in the field to take on Jefferson Shreve or whoever the successful GOP candidate is?
So I'm a teacher, I'm a scientist, and a small business owner. I think I hold that designation of a variety of backgrounds. I have successfully passed an original bill at the federal level, which in itself is a rarity. I didn't know that when I became a fellow and they gave me this project and said, hey, write this bill, make it go. I just made it go. There is something special about that. It is not an easy task. There are several hurdles you have to face before a bill can even be considered. Everybody has a great idea for a bill. Most of those never go anywhere for a host of reasons. So I have that experience. I have the experience in the classroom of consensus building, conflict resolution, and those two things I think will be, and if I can do that with teenagers, I can do that on Capitol Hill. So I think those experiences bring me, I have a unique perspective, plus I'm a scientist. And right now with science still under attack, and when I was there in 2018, 2019, somebody asked me before I left, are you nervous about going to DC with Donald Trump there because because of who you are? And I said, well, I'm a woman and I'm a scientist. Therefore, I am invisible. He'll never see me. So I think being a scientist, gives me the perspective that I can dig into issues. I finished a PhD. I have the stick-to-itness. I'm persistent, and I think those are the things that you need to have on the Hill. And I've been there, so I know what it takes. It's not easy, and it does take a lot of compromise and a lot of conflict resolution.
Very good. I believe we go to Corey next. Court?
Okay, so why would I be the best candidate? I've come with more than just slogans. I came with solutions. I've built policy with the voters of this district from both sides of the aisle, too. I've sat down, as I said earlier, I've knocked on more than 23,000 doors since August and sat down with the constituents in this district who helped me write the policy that became part of my campaign. I am also the only candidate in this district who joined Take Back Congress. It is a national coalition of congressional candidates. We're talking, my phone is blowing up as we speak. It is a big group. We have pledged to ban stock trading, to overturn Citizens United, to get money out of politics, to put an ethics guide in for the Supreme Court. We have pledged to term limits, and which would be 12 years, 2 terms for Senate, 6 terms for Congress. Those are all things that we've pledged to do on top of the policies that I stand for, and that's why I believe that I would be the best candidate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Amix. Mr. Baker?
Thank you. I wouldn't think it a bad idea to return, a lawyer as a lawmaker. We have actually had a decline of the number of attorneys participating in lawmaking, and it would be best for us to return to that. But why are we the best campaign? It's very clear. Which candidate is going to give us the broadest appeal to the general constituents and the general election? Who's going to appeal to the most independent voters and moderate voters and get us over the 50% hump so that we can take Jefferson Shreve's job away, get to Washington, and have a broad support and coalition that can not only just win this election, but all the elections hopefully moving forward for some time so that we can get on to some important committees and make some real change. But the obvious point is we are obviously the most moderate, if not conservative Democrat campaign that is going to give the greatest appeal to those independent, moderate voters and disgruntled conservative voters. And us Democrats, we really have to think about, do we want to win a primary or do we want to win the general election? And you must look then to the candidate that is going to give us the best chance and put our best foot forward.
Thank you so much. Okay, question 6 is for Corey first. There is a severe lack of trust for the government felt by the American people. How will this inform your campaign and, if elected, your term?
So you're right. There is a massive distrust in the government, and it's one of the first things I identified when I started my campaign a year ago. And I tackled that by starting out with reverse town halls. A reverse town hall is where we would come to a forum like this, and I don't speak. The microphone is actually in the audience's hands, and you get to drill me with the questions and talk to me about what I stand for. This helps build trust. Going door to door and knocking on everybody's doors so they see me also continues to build trust. I want to be in the community working with the people because ultimately if and when I'm elected, you're my boss. I report to you. It doesn't work the other way around. So that's where I've wanted to make sure that all the people saw me as your left and right hand. I do what you want me to do, which is why all of my policies were built by the voters. That's what it came down to. And that's what I will continue to do, even when I'm elected. Holding town halls, I will continue to hold town halls that I myself will show up to. Unlike Jefferson Shreves, who sends 2 interns or 1 intern and never bothers to show up. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, I think are we at Nick? I think we're at Nick. Next is Nick. No, that was point 1.
I think it's...
Yeah. So, Nick, yep, you're good.
how to heal the distrust in government. Is that correct? Obviously, we need to return to representative government. I think we've all been witness for decades now of special interest government, billionaire government, our highest earners and our most elite class economically taking full control of our government and taking advantage of us. We've also seen in the current administration pardoning fraudsters, dark money into our elections, dark money out the back door with contracts to the president's son, and a whole host of other odd and definitely distrustful actions by our federal government. But when you witness people in the House of Representatives making tens of millions of dollars in trades, it certainly doesn't reflect back on the constituents that, hey, these are trustworthy people. So again, it's adopting those 22 issues that 80% of Americans believe need to be passed, from repealing Citizens United, overturning dark money in our elections, getting the trading out of our Congress, and the host of other policies, universal health care or something closer to it, and introducing those policies where people can really actually see a benefit. And once they actually can see a benefit to their community and they're not just seeing a politician get elected and get rich, then we can potentially see some trust back. But we also need to restore all the public service officers and all of those people who oversee our government to make sure that nothing shady is going on in the background. Once we can get our Department of Justice to exist again, because right now I think it's on hold, we can actually get some semblance of trust back in our government. We used to believe that the Justice Department would enforce our laws, and we're questioning that right now.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Dr. Worth.
Putting trust back in our government, that starts with candidates who, like me, build volunteer networks throughout the district. I have an incredible volunteer network throughout this district right now, and we have built that slowly, county by county. And people, when they are involved and they believe in what you want to do and believe in you, that makes you work even harder to make sure that they are represented well. And I think going to spaces where you don't have security with you, you're just a person going to meet other people, that's a big part of that, showing up for town halls. Jefferson Shreve had one Monday morning at 9 o'clock in Franklin where he didn't let anybody know about it until the night before, and you had to apply. That's not okay. That doesn't build trust in our government. But on the larger scale, so that's what we can do within the 6th district. I'll show up, I'll be accessible, and I will build volunteer networks and roundtables of people so that my policies will actively represent and reflect what the 6th district needs and what the concerns are of the 6th district. On the larger scale within the federal government, our diplomatic corps, which has been gutted, needs to be put back. We need people who are professionals to be in those spaces and not somebody's buddy negotiating on behalf of our country. We need to put back our entire professional corps of nonpartisan professionals in our federal government. And that is critical and needs to be done as soon as we can elect new people. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, question 7 is for Nick Baker. How would you help stop the authoritarian overreach of the executive branch?
Us Democrats need to win this election and take back the House of Representatives and get the gavel back into our hand. It is only at that point in time, once Democrats have control of Congress and hopefully they can get control of the Senate, can we actually produce policy and introduce legislation that is going to push back on Article 2 of the Constitution. You've got to remember that the United States House of Representatives is the very first body of government. Article 1, Section 1. And in that is where the people govern. It is where it says it right above the hall, and it states, here is where the people govern, Alexander Hamilton's quote. So until we actually get the voters to show up, which we're going to get in this election, there's enough people who are frustrated with what they're seeing in their government that they're going to get out there, they're going to vote. We are going to have a complete change in Congress. And once we give that gavel and we get leadership situated, we will be able to introduce those very pieces of legislation that will push back on the executive branch and stop this authoritarian request. This is by design. Every time you introduce policy that continues these debts running away and you see dysfunction in Congress, automatically people are looking for a strong man. And Donald Trump is taking advantage of that. He is not necessarily the problem, he's taking advantage of the problem and is exploiting it. So we have to get in there, we need to balance the budget and close the things that force people to be interested in an autocrat. Remember what America is on this quarter millennial anniversary, and take back what ultimately the Constitution requires, and that's the people. We are to represent the people, a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I believe we go to Corey next. We can go to Cindy. All right. Thank you, Cindy.
So we are in a constitutional crisis right now because we don't have leadership that is standing up for this and holding our president accountable right now. And I think it's critical that we elect more people who are willing to do that and willing to say, this is not okay, this is why, and uphold their oath that they've taken to the Constitution. I do regularly reach out to Jefferson Shreve in his office and tell him that this is what I fully expect of him as my representative. And I have not, I've heard back from him almost every time with, well, I just do what Mike Johnson tells me to do. So I think electing people who have the ability on their own and, to find advisors if they don't know, other than Mike Johnson or whoever's in power, to stand up to this is key. Because it is ultimately, and the reason why I'm running for this seat is because it is the closest to the people. It is the closest to solving people's problems. That's the job. That's what I think needs to be done. And I think when we elect people, that's their focus, and we get the money out, we don't take money from large corporate PACs, dark money in our campaigns, and we change the laws around that, end Citizens United. I think this will go a long way to helping not have the problems that we have right now and ending those, but holding them responsible, impeachment, trials, in whatever way that we can hold them accountable. They all need to be held accountable, whether it's the illegal war, whether it's gutting all of our organizations like USAID, our professional corps. They need to be held accountable.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Mr. Amix. This will be the last question for closing statements. But yep.
I got to echo what both Dr. Worth and Nick said. Looking at accountability, we have to hold people accountable. And I think that we are going to see something really special this year. We are going to see a massive wave of people come out to vote in May and again in November. People are mad. This country, it's a shame. I saw a political ad the other day. It was a cartoon that showed the Statue of Liberty sitting with her face palming, and her hand, instead of the torch, it held a no vacancy sign. That's a powerful image to see, and that's what we've become, and it's angered most of the honest Americans in this country. And I can tell you firsthand, knocking on the Republican doors that I have, they're angry too. This is not the country that they want. And I think we will see that this next week. We will see that this November. Whether one of the three of us wins, we are going to take that accountability. We're going to hold all of them accountable, including Donald Trump. Thank you.
Thank you. Friends, we would like to end with the candidates making closing remarks about their candidacy. We're going to reverse the order from the introductions and randomly selection would put Dr. Cindy Worth up first. And then we'll proceed reverse alphabetically if I can get that right. All right? So, Dr. Worth, you're first.
Again, I'm Dr. Cindy Worth. I'm a scientist, a teacher, and a small business owner. My great-grandfather on one side was one of our last horseback mail carriers in Indiana. On the other side, that great-grandfather was the harness maker right here at Earlham. I am from everyday, common, working people. I am the first in my family to graduate from college, the first to go all the way through and finish a PhD. That's kind of a rarity in a lot of spaces in today's world. I think bringing a working person, I'm a union member still, I won't let that go either. Bringing that normalcy back to an elected position is one of the things we need. My father's a Vietnam veteran, my brother is a Gulf War veteran, and I think caring for veterans, making sure our immigrants are treated humanely, those kinds of things I will not compromise on. Human rights, I will not compromise on at all. And I think we need someone with the integrity to be able to make those statements, stand behind them, and know that that person will not waver. And I am that person who will not waver. So I'm Dr. Cindy Worth, and I would like to have your vote in the primary, and I hope I've earned it.
Thank you. Next up is Nick Baker. Mr. Baker.
Thank you. This is probably going to be our last candidate forum. We've had several together. And I first want to take an opportunity to thank my primary opponents, both Dr. Worth and Professor Amix, I will call you. We all push each other to do better. I know Cindy's participated in 2 campaigns before, but by all of us joining in this race, I think it fires up us Democrats to get out there, understand the issues, encourage our friends, and get out there and let's get involved in this primary vote. So I really appreciate being involved in this candidacy and having an opportunity to work with you guys. I also want to thank the voters. The voters have been incredible, reaching out, yearning to have an opportunity to speak with you. Like we've all talked about, Jefferson Shreve's, frankly, if you want to go talk to Jefferson Shreve, it'd probably have a better chance of going to talk to Santa Claus. So, you know, I hope, though, that you all have been given an opportunity to learn about our candidacy. We're all going to be available to answer more questions should you need to know anything. And we've all tonight talked about what we want to do and the great policies we'd love to bring to Washington. But I ask that you please remember that we first have to win an election, and not a primary election. Us Democrats have to win a general election. So look out there, understand which candidate gives us that best opportunity, and get out the vote so we can get to Washington and make the changes we really want to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Thank you so much. And now, Corey Amix.
I want to thank Nick and Dr. Worth and David, who's not here. This is our last forum, guys, before elections next week. It's been a wild ride, and I want to thank all of you guys too. This room has been energetic. It is exciting. We've all been in rooms where nobody has shown up, so I want to applaud all of you for showing up and caring. I hope to earn your vote. There are many things that I could rehash again. I stand for affordability, raising the minimum wage, child care, universal health care. I've already on my website, you can go check out the Unity Pathway Act. It's a policy I've written with 30 other immigrants and 2 former immigration officers on immigration reform. Human rights. As a gay man, obviously, I am standing up for human rights and women's rights. We need to stand up for everybody. Sorry, the signs are throwing me off. But I hope you do take the time when we're done here on stage and come talk to us more. You can put us on the spot, ask us more questions. Write them down if you're afraid to, or send it. You can even go to my website, amixforcongress.com. If you're, I promise I don't bite, but if you're afraid to ask me a question, you can send me a question through my website. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Our candidates have done a fantastic job of answering questions, being concise, sticking to the time limits, and staying focused on the issues that are at hand and the solutions that make Hoosiers' lives better. Can we please have a round of applause for these great congressional candidates? Thank you so much. Very good, thank you. Our next item of order here is we now get a chance to hear from our local, county, and state candidates who have already won their primary and will now be in the November ballot. Each of our three candidates will have 2 minutes to introduce themselves and their platform or candidacy. We'll start with the most local race and move to larger districts. Thank you, friends. Appreciate it. Yes, sir. Good evening. Let's be a little informal. We're in blue. All right. First up, we have Tom Pennington. He's running for County Council District 4, which is the Centerville region and includes much of Richmond's west side. Mr. Pennington.
Thank you. There we go. Yeah, I'm definitely not used to this kind of thing. My name is Tom Pennington. I'm running for County Council in District 4. That's over towards Centerville. I have been a teacher. I'm currently a therapist. But in another life, years ago, I belonged to several trade unions. I've worked in these factories. I've worked in unsafe conditions. And I've struggled to pay my rent. So I think that we have to stop getting what we need from our county government, and I don't think we are. We've got crumbling infrastructure. We have a real problem with education in this county. We were talking about before, voucher system that is just decimating public education. We've got a lot of different things going on. And what I always thought is who is listening to the people out there who actually live in the county. It's one thing to help, but I was a working guy. And every time we got a raise, they moved the goalposts. Rent went up, groceries went up, gas went up, and the raise was gone just like that. So all I really want to leave you, I want to leave you with this thought. When you talk about affordability, there is something that always drives poverty, and that is moving the goalposts farther and farther out. Folks take money right out of your pocket by raising prices. And one of those prices is rent. And rent in this county has gotten completely out of control. I appreciate you giving me a few minutes tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And now we'll hear from Ron Ittmeyer, who is running for State Senate 27, which includes all of Wayne County. Mr. Ittmeyer.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. My campaign is about one simple thing: standing up for rural Indiana. And I grew up on a 300-acre corn and beef farm. I worked in the seed corn industry for 13 years, and for the last 17, I have been a biology professor at IU East. I've spent my life working in agriculture, working in education, and community service. I don't see anybody here that's on the street tree commission with me as long as I have, but Neil's not here. And so I understand the challenges that are facing our district. Families are feeling the pressure of rising costs. Our schools need stable support. Several were mentioned at the state level. We need this at the national level. We need that support at the state level as well. Our farms and small towns deserve a real voice in Indianapolis. That is why my campaign is built on 3 clear priorities: smart taxes, strong schools, protect farms. Smart tax policies that support homeowners without hurting our communities. Strong schools that serve every child and prepare the next generation. And policies that protect family farms and keep rural Indiana strong. This election is about making sure the people of District 27 are heard again. I'm asking for your support so together we can bring practical, common sense leadership back to the State House. To learn more about me and my candidacy, go to friendsofron.com. Yes, surprisingly, that was available. So friendsofron.com, or on Facebook, Itnire for Indiana. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Itnire. We were supposed to hear from Tom Rockwell, who is running for State House District 56, which includes all of Wayne County tonight, but unfortunately he is ill and will not be with us.
Though I will say, I need help in the state legislature. If I get in, I need Tom there in the House.
So we got to go with him. Yep. So, even though all these candidates will be on the November ballot, you can still vote for them in the primary. You can hear more from the state and sheriff candidates from both sides of the aisle tomorrow night at the Community Candidate Forum. The event is co-hosted by the NAACP, League of Women Voters, Wayne County Indivisible, and Earlham College Peace and Global Studies program, in addition to Earlham's Center for Social Justice. It runs from 6 to 8 p.m. tomorrow night at Earlham College, Landrum Bowling Center, room 105. That's the first big room as you walk in. Also, Eating Liberally will be at Twist India. I think that date was the 25th. May 20th. May 20th. Thank you, Roxy. May 20th, and that's from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay? So, thank you to each of our candidates for their time and their openness and to sharing their values and their vision for a better and brighter future for Indiana. Before we wrap up tonight, we need to thank a few people for making tonight's event even possible. So we want to thank Amanda Marquis and the Leland Legacy for being our hosts and providing the delicious cookies. Can we get a round of applause? Those cookies. Fantastic. We want to thank Kevin Shook with Global Media Enterprise for serving as Facebook Live videographer. Thank you so much, Kevin. We'd also like to thank Andrew Hoover for the audio support. Hoover, thank you. And I want to make sure that we thank all of our wonderful volunteers who have helped put this together. Can we just get a round of applause for the folks that silently work in the background and make this something special? I believe we have one Democratic elected official here tonight, Bill Engel from District 3. Is Bill here? Hey, Bill, how are you? Okay. Thank you for joining us. As you know, your vote is your voice, and your voice is your power. Remember what President Obama once said: don't boo, vote. I see a lot of people in the audience who are inspired and now even more excited to go and cast their vote. I know I'm one of them. In Wayne County, early voting is in full swing through our vote centers. You can vote through Friday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Coleman Center, or First English Lutheran Church, the Golay Center, and Hagerstown New Testament Church. Saturday voting is at the Coleman Center from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and the courthouse from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you need more information about early voting or election day voting, or you want to attend our monthly meetings, Bo Bai will be with us in May. And so see our chair, Maggie Thomas, all the way in the back. Yep, and we love Maggie. Or our wonderful volunteer, Beth Herrick, who's an amazing timekeeper. please, before you leave, remember to visit the candidate tables if you need more information or even a yard sign or multiple yard signs. I know I want to post all three, and we'd love to see you all at the polls. Please, 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 for the sake of our country, vote blue. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support. Travel safely home.